Okay, so we're talking about who lives here. So Miss Fanny lived there behind you, and Noreen and Jerry Fisher lived there.
Somebody else was living there before Noreen and Jerry lived there.
Yeah, I don't remember. That was before me. They're the first people I remember.
What was that name, Bobby?
Don't
They
matter.
ran that restaurant down in Atlanta.
No, they lived in Dennis Park now.
Yeah, okay.
Turn the phone off.
Let me see.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And Ann and Danny Sparks lived there beside us.
Yeah.
And then we were in there. And across the street there was Betty Daniels. And
Yeah. Well, Marie.
Marie Abbott. Now I don't remember. I don't remember much. I mean, Errol, Bill Taylor,
Yeah.
and Carol, and his boys.
David Ewell.
David Ewell and Barbara lived back there, and who was the tall fella? Lived right beside David Ewell. Big tall fella, kind of.
Bernard Nelson.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. And I
He
don't remember.
still lives over there.
Does he?
Yeah.
He's still alive?
Mhm.
Wow. Anyway, I don't remember much else about them, but let's see. Other things. Mike had a basketball goal right out there outside of the house. But the reason I'm asking about the sand pile is Mike had a little motorcycle. Because y'all used to come over here to Dr. Kendall's house, and
Yeah.
you know, on
Yeah,
of a weekend, and
Lorton, would you have?
yeah, his was I remember it red, and it had the little scoop out there and the long bike, and I think that was Mike's. I don't remember if it was Mike's, but I know that you guys used to come over and socialize here at Dr. Kendall's house, and one night I believe y'all drove it.
Yeah, and it threw. No, he called. He said, "All right, it's going to throw you." And I don't even think about calling me to the emergency room. I'm not going. We got over there and hit that sand pile, and it got Mama right down to the shin bone, Went on in the house, and I called up Kendall. I said, "Doc," I said, "Well, that motorcycle got us, Bobby's leg cut, and going over the emergency room, I'll be over there." Come right on over.
Yeah.
But then the funniest thing, Hattie had gone up to Boston, had you, to see her mom and dad. Over here one Sunday afternoon, sitting out there on that back stoop, drinking sangria, I believe.
Yeah.
Dr. Kendall got on that thing and said, "I'm gonna ride it." Got up there and made that curve up at Lillian's, and we heard the engine rev up. He came back, and he was skidding places he didn't even know he had, from the top of his head right on down to his feet. Bobby put peroxide and alcohol and Band-Aids and every damn thing on. When he got back out, they said, "I'm gonna master that beast," and got back on it and rode it again.
Well, good.
Oh, that's funny. Let me think what else. So now, tell me, I don't remember much about Marie Abbott. I know she used to sit me. Marie Abbott? Yeah.
She was a pretty woman.
Yeah, it sounds so little, I don't remember. What I do remember was going to the store with her, because up there past Sea Level Inn, there used to be a gas station. It was Floyd's Barbershop.
Yeah.
Now, was it Floyd?
No.
No, Lloyd.
Oh, Marvin.
Marvin
Rice.
Marvin Rice Barbershop. There was a florist there at the time, Deanna Taylor, maybe?
Yeah,
There was a Coast Guard station there too.
See, I don't remember that.
Yep.
I don't remember that. And then Lynn Combs had
Yeah.
the gas station there.
Yeah.
And then the pier was there where,
Charlie Fuchs was operating that station to begin with when we first moved in.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Charlie got the job at Cherry Point.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Wow.
Do you remember out on the big pier for the inn, climbing up on the top?
Top of the gazebo and diving off.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And now let me think of the guy's name. Older fella. Who used to bet me I couldn't do it, and then he'd get up there and do it. It's a name that everybody knows, and as soon as we say it, we'll know it. It'll come to me later. Yeah, I remember getting up there and diving off those, and I remember down here at the little pier, or little dock, running wide ass open and diving off that.
Yeah.
And Dr. Kittley used to say, if you died, he wanted to have an autopsy done to see if you had fish gills,
A gill.
Yeah.
See, if you had gills,
Gills.
instead of lungs.
Yeah.
cause you'd be in mud holes.
Let's think what else now. So see, I don't know much about Mike and Ann growing up because I was so young, much younger than them. Other than the time they got in a knockdown drag out and she whopped him in the head with that frying pan. I remember that. Let's talk about Mr. Harry.
Now, he wasn't. Who lived in that house when we first moved down here? It wasn't Harry.
No.
Don't ask me.
It wasn't Charlie Cordell, was it?
No, he lived to live.
Yeah. I don't remember. But anyway, we hadn't been down here long before Harry and Myrtle moved down.
And do you remember why he moved down here? So he talked to somebody.
The Taylors.
Talked to
Because after he retired from the United Fruit Company, the Taylors were wanting to get into the banana growing business. And Harry was who was the dictator of Cuba before Castro?
I don't remember.
I can't remember, but Harry was a good friend of his because they raced horses together. Harry had a race horses or raced horse or something up. And he knew him, and the Cuban dictator at that time was a good friend of the Taylors because the Cuba had to authorize, them to bring down ships and stuff in there. But the Taylors wanted to get into the banana growing business, so shucks, Harry went all out in the South Pacific, looking for areas out there to grow bananas.
But why did he choose to come to Sea Level?
Mr. Taylor told him that Harry was just wanting to retire somewhere or another. And Mr. Taylor told him, said, I have some houses up at Sea Level, North Carolina. I would like for you to go up there and look at some of them and see if you would like one. And if you would, you can have one.
Wow.
So that's what he did.
Yep. Yeah, he was a good old fella. And I don't remember much about him, a bit, but I don't remember Myrtle. I remember what Myrtle looked like,
Yeah.
but I remember I was here when she was dying over
Yeah.
there because you were going over there, and I remember that clearly. I remember at 5 o'clock, phone would ring. Mr. Harris, time for a toddy.
And he still had that much of the United Kingdom in him. If he had a schedule to go by. If he was out there pruning roses or any blame thing else at 10 o'clock in the morning, cause that was the time to go in and have. Well, what did he drink at 10?
Tea.
Tea. He quit. I mean, if he was halfway through with a damn bush, he had quit, go in the house. Went by that tea at best.
Yeah, that yard has never looked so good before or since.
Well, shucks, he kept, I don't know how many roses Mama had then, a whole
50.
parcel of them, and he kept
50.
Mama's
Yeah, right over here.
roses up too, because when he was doing something on his own roses, he'd come over here and do the same thing on Mama's.
Yeah. And then let me think. And then I remember he'd go back to South America in the winters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry Jr., let's see, Bogota's the capital. I think they lived in Cali. You know, that's one of the big drug cartels now. That's where they were living though.
And I remember Hoocha.
Hoocha, yeah.
Yeah, he was the artist. Wasn't
Yeah.
he? And he came here one time in a 3-wheel car.
No, that was Harry's nephew.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was in the British Army.
The artist was his daughter too.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And Hoocha was an artist also.
Who drew the Matadors?
Sue.
Sue. Wow. You still have those?
Yeah.
Red Magnet? Yeah, those are incredible.
But let's see yeah, she's living in. Wait a minute, who was it? I was asking. last time I talked to Patty, talked to Patty, maybe a month before she died, and I asked if she had ever heard anything from Sue, and I've forgotten whether Sue's still in Spain or may have moved to Colombia or somewhere.
And then Mr. Harry moved, as he got up in years, he moved back.
Moved back to
Right.
Colombia, and that didn't pan out, and he moved to Spain. He didn't stay close to Sue. He lived in some kind of a resort area and had a massive brain tumor or aneurysm or something and died.
I remember when Dr. Kendall called you.
Huh?
I remember when Dr. Kendall called you and said we'd lost an old friend.
Yeah.
He was a good old gentleman.
But now, Hoocha had a brother that was flying in. He served several years with the Colombian Air Force, and then got a job flying with that. What's that national airline? Anyway, he was flying with them, and I'd seen it on television or read in one of the papers or something that one of their planes had flown in the side of a mountain down there, and Dr. Kendall called me a few days later and said it was him. He was the one that flew in there.
Wow.
Lost, passengers a whole 9 yards.
Oh, let me think what else now. I'm just thinking about all this shit here. I remember I used to get on Miss Lillian's get a haircut. Remember that? She had that beauty shop there. Or get a haircut. Now, something else I remember, I don't know where this fits in, but didn't at some point you work for the dentist, Dr. Bell?
That's all I did. Nobody else would work for him.
Now, how did that fit in? Because did you take a break from the hospital? Or did you do that?
Hell no.
She worked for him during the day at the hospital at night.
Really?
I take you to, was that with you?
I remember that. I don't remember how old I was though. What, you remember when that was?
God, Jack Johnson was the mental.
You hadn't been down here long when you were starting. Because Dr. Bell moved. Daddy and Dr. Bell hunted together. Dr. Bell came into Camp Button when Camp Button was big.
Now, hold on, you sure it was Dr. Bell here?
I know it was Dr.
I
Bell.
was thinking Dr. But yeah, I think it was too. But I thought my dentist in Bow or Moorhead used to be Dr. Bell too. But maybe this.
No,
I don't remember.
forgot different. But
Different,
anyway,
okay.
One more head.
he used to hunt when Daddy was in charge of clearing all the artillery range and everything up at Camp Button. I don't remember how he and Dr. Bell got together, but Dr. Bell had done a whole lot of hunting, but he had never been turkey hunting, and wanted to go turkey hunting. So he and Daddy started hunting together, and then he came down here, and I've forgotten how. I believe the last time I went to him after he retired out of the Army. He set up a practice there in Durham. And I went to him maybe once or twice before I went to the Marines. And then I didn't go to a dentist for 15 or 20 years, I reckon. But I know every afternoon when I get home, Dr. Bell would step down in the back door at his house. Do that. He said, "Do you know what that means?" I said, "Yeah, it means the symbols." That's exactly right. Get over here.
Now, how? You didn't know that he was coming here, and he didn't know you were here.
No.
How did that go when you found out? I mean, how did you find out?
He was already down here somewhere though, but I just happened it dawned on me that was Dr. Bell.
Really?
Yeah.
How amazing.
So I went over and told him who I was and everything, and then everything jived from
My
there.
washing machine broke down.
Yeah.
So Brains and Dr. Bell were going to fix it.
Took all of his dental instruments and a screwdriver and a pair of pliers.
Never broke again.
Wow. So things I remember about, I remember going over to Dr. Bell's, and I don't remember this, but I remember being told that I bit his finger. don't know if you remember that. He was doing working on my mountain. I bit his finger. Wow. Let's see. So that house later, after he was gone, that's where the Kraszewskis moved into.
No,
Mm-mm.
no,
They live next door.
they lived up in the inn.
No. When
Did they live in one of these houses down here? to begin with?
yeah. When they first Daniel was my good friend. They moved down here. When they first moved, they lived there for some months while they modified the suites. Because at that point, Snug Harbor, he was coming down for Snug Harbor.
Yeah.
They were building Snug Harbor,
Remember that.
and they were modifying the two big suites down at the inn, and the next 3 rooms joining them, so that family could move there. Because there was 6 or 8, 12 kids, 6 or 8 that were still there. They lived here for a little while because I remember spending the night there. Where the garage was, they had closed it off, and it was nothing but a bunch of little single beds in there, like a barracks. And they lived there for a bit, and then they
I
moved.
never remember that.
Yeah, they did, and then they moved into the inn because Snug Harbor owned the inn then.
Yeah.
And then now during that time also, let me think of the name. Think of the name. Dennis in Williston. Dennis, his grandparents ran the inn.
Yeah, well,
Marvin?
Marvin Robinson.
Marvin Robinson.
and Harriet Robinson.
That's right. I remember they ran the inn.
Yeah.
And I remember it used to be a big deal for me because when Uncle Marion and Aunt Ethel would come down, they'd stay at the inn.
Yeah.
And then John would come down, and I'd get to go up there and stay with them and get kicked out of bed by John because I was kicking the hell out of him. And Dave and Sue had that little hall trailer that they had down at the campground,
Yeah.
and they would come. And Dunkin' Donuts is what I remember because they would always bring Dunkin' Donuts, which was a treat. We never got them. You know, there's none around here. Let's see. So the Kraszewskis moved there, and then there. Let's see. At some point, I'm trying to remember who lived here right here. I remember Lee Bob lived there at some point. Lee Bob and Jolene and Kate.
Yeah.
Scarborough.
Kate Scarborough.
Yeah, but I don't remember who lived there before them.
Well, he was a retired Marine. We're working over there in the hospital, wasn't he, Bobby?
No. What is the one? We had a preacher living there one time.
I don't remember.
No, that was McComas. That was way later.
Bill McComas, yeah, that was later.
Okay.
Well, after Kate Scarborough, or is that her name?
Yeah.
Lee Bob? Yeah. The Brants moved there.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. George Brant and Melanie and Jenny and Scott.
Yeah.
Scott was the son. I don't remember the wife's name.
I don't know.
Anyway, and then they moved to the house right down there by Ann
Yeah.
at some point when he was the administrator. And then they moved off and whatnot.
I think they're up around Washington or Williamston up that way somewhere.
Yeah. And then then Dr. Bingham moved in here at
Yeah.
some point. I don't know if that's the right timeline. And he had
And Georgiana.
yeah, and then interesting that he used the same place as the dentist office that was the dentist
Yeah.
office before. Think in a community of 500 people, how many times are you going to have a dentist right there?
He was a good dentist.
He was my favorite ever. I mean, I literally would go there and I'd go to sleep while he's working on me, and he'd say, "Open your mouth." And when I got done, he'd say, "No, go in the office and sleep." I'd go lay on his couch and finish sleeping. And we're skipping some years here. We'll come back, but since we're talking about them, I was in the 6th grade when they were here, and because you bought me at Rose's a $29 guitar. I still remember a red and sunburn looking acoustic guitar. I couldn't play. I mean, I didn't know shit about it. But you bought it for me, and I had a little book, and I picked up little stuff. And I went over to Georgianne, who was she's an incredible piano player, and she taught me about chords and what the notes were, and that's how I started playing guitar. Georgianne taught me. I mean, she taught me the guitar music stuff. And then, if I recall, they built a place over at Cedar Island.
They
Yeah.
did. It was a barn.
It was a barn that
Completely by Tuesday Woody.
his home, he was from up there. Around Greensboro, Winston-Salem, somewhere up.
Yeah.
He had spent a whole lot of time in the army.
Yeah, I didn't remember that.
Yeah. I've forgotten why he got out of the army, but he's told me a lot of times he wished he'd have gone ahead and stayed on in the army.
Yeah. Now, I mean, this is all, getting not in the right timeline, but I also remember something happened when I was just finishing high school, or my senior year maybe, or maybe my first year at West Point. Somebody was staying at their house and got killed. Kevin Massey killed somebody over there at Cedar Island.
That was up the road. That was up the road out from. That was Jack Tallman's son. He worked with Jack, No, wait a minute.
Well. What can do?
I don't remember.
Only Ralph I know.
Palmer. Ralph Palmer.
Ralph Palmer.
And that's who they killed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, so that was who lived there. And then in the other house, there were McShane's were there for a while. And then Dzinski,
Yeah.
Dr. Dzinski, and John. I don't remember the wife.
Oh yeah.
I remember the dog, JD.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think her name was Ann.
And I
And
remember.
then remember the McShane's had that great day in the St. Bernard.
Yeah, they did,
like a horse.
Yeah, what was his name? Let's say
What
Moby.
kind of oddball day?
Not Moby Dick, but yeah, I remember that. And they had that cart that the kids would get in and haul around.
What movie did after him came?
Huh?
Oh, Dudzik.
After Dzinski. I don't remember at that point.
Can't remember their names, but she worked down at the beach house a while. You remember that?
Yeah, and he worked out there at the BT-11. Yeah.
And then
Well, there had to be somebody else between then and there because Dzinski was when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But they left before I left high school because John Dzinski, remember him? He was very smart. As a matter of fact, he was good friends with Brian Salter, who lived across the way. And I don't know if you know what Facebook is, but I hooked up with Brian.
Huh?
It was
Yeah, fix me.
Yeah, and I hooked up with Brian Salter on Facebook.
Right now,
He's out in California.
yeah, man. Right now, he was Make's nephew.
Yeah.
I was trying to think last night that names, and then his daddy was what the hell was? Damn, I can't remember. Anyway, his daddy, they lived over yonder on the back road.
Yeah, the White House
Yeah,
with the big
and,
fences.
You know, he left to go to the Air Force Academy, and he didn't even make it through Beast or whatever it was. I mean, he just couldn't stand the pressure or whatever.
Yeah.
Donald was his daddy.
Yeah.
But Donald and his wife separated, and Donald moved away from him. And when Miss Ruby died, Mate called me and asked me if I'd be a pallbearer. I said, be honored. And we went down there that afternoon to the funeral at the Free Will Baptist Church. And it was raining just as hard as I was. And they called off everything to the graveside, just gonna have the whole work in the church, and then the funeral home would take care. And somebody spoke to me, and it didn't dawn on me who it was, and it was Donald. And he was, when he left here, he lived in that hostess house up there in Newport for the longest kind of time, and developed cancer. And in fact, he was in charge of maintenance at Snug Harbor when Makeley was in charge of maintenance over at the hospital. So when he got really down in bad shape with cancer, that's when he came to Snug Harbor, and I think he died over there at Snug Harbor. But they had both retired from the Air Force.
Yeah, I remember that Brian was an Air Force brat.
Yeah.
Let me think who.
Well, what's he doing in California?
He's a computer programmer, I think, or something like that. I have it on my Facebook. I don't remember. But anyway, I think what else? So we moved here when I was 7. Well, you know what? Oh yeah,
Oh, here.
yeah. We did.
One.
Yeah, I was.
April 7th.
Yeah, I was 7. Well, listen, I'm just trying to remember different things here. But like when we lived at the other house, I remember that's where I learned to ride a bike.
Yeah.
It was Ann's bike. It was out in the yard, and I kept trying to get falling, and finally did one day got it. Got on there. And I remember I used to, when the school bus would be coming in the mornings, I had to go stand out on the on the porch, and it was forbidden to get off the porch. And one day I got off the porch and it was covered in mud from head to toe. And Ann yelled at me. I had to go in and change all my clothes. And
But remember when, who did we have when you were in high school? Rebel? Yeah, Rebel
Yeah.
what? He knew just as well what time that school bus was coming in the
Yeah.
afternoon. He'd be right over there.
that was
waiting.
Ringo.
Yeah, Ringo.
Yeah.
And in the morning, he'd want
Yeah.
to go with you over there. And when you got on the bus, he'd
Yeah.
go back home.
Well, I go up to, we all got on the bus up there at Sea Level Inn.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he'd go up there and he'd see me up there and the bus would take off and I wouldn't see him. And well, when I got off there at Miss Finney's,
Yeah.
he was right there.
Yeah.
All the time. Matter of fact, we used to go out here in the bay and ski and boat
Yeah.
around. And one day we were out there with Daniel Krzeski. When they lived up here at the inn by now, they had a little skiff. And we had that, remember that big long surfboard? that we had?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we had that big long surfboard, and that's what I never learned to ski. I never skied on skis until I had graduated from West Point.
Well,
I was in Georgia. I always skied on a surfboard.
Yeah.
And we were out there, he was pulling us on that boat, and I was on a surfboard, and the boat broke down. And we're out there damn close to the beacon. They're at the head of the bay. And every time we're out there in the bay, Ringo would run up and down the shore to wherever we were. Well, we're out there in the bay, and I looked and I saw him on the end of the dock, and when we didn't move for a while, that fucking dog jumped off the pier and swam all the way out there to where we were. He got out there, he was about dead. I mean, so we had to actually get off, get out of the boat, and lift him up on the surfboard because he couldn't last much longer. I mean, he was, but yeah, he was a damn good dog. He'd follow us anywhere. Speaking of dogs, let's go through dogs. Now, did you guys used to have a dog named Princess?
Yeah. What, Bobby, was Princess a beagle or a dachshund?
Beagle.
Princess.
Beagle.
We had a dog named Princess.
Yeah, that was before me. I mean, I was so little young I don't remember Princess. First dog I remember was Toby.
Yeah. Dachshund.
The red dachshund. And I don't know if you remember this, but he could. We had him the whole time we lived over there, or whatever. And then we moved here. We had him, and we used to have a basketball goal right up here against this telephone pole.
Yeah.
And he loved that basketball. Anytime we'd miss it, he'd go after it. And he got to the point where he'd get his front paws up on it and push it with his paws on there, rolling it and he ran along with it. And I still remember the day. I was right there in the yard, right here in the yard, and there come Cole and Taylor in that green goddamn truck, wide open down here, and hit him. I remember I can still see it to this day where he's running out there, and there it is. Jesus. The Taylor family hasn't been good to our dogs. Because if you remember, we had, after Toby, we had Schnitzel,
Yeah.
a black and tan.
Somebody stole him.
Yeah, somebody stole him. Black and tan dachshund. Didn't have him long, my recollection. And then Mike got Angel.
Yeah.
And damn Daryl Taylor was walking past her one day, and he followed her, and he didn't chase her back, and she got killed going across the road following him.
And that was brains too with Darryl.
Yeah, he's a prize.
That was a wasted screw that Norma and Colin did on him.
Somebody should have given him a quarter to keep it, let it run down his leg. Well, first off, when I first saw Colin's 2 kids, or his wife and the 2 kids, I thought they had to be twins. And then I thought, well, because nobody's going to fuck that lady twice.
I remember.
I'll cut that out.
I remember I was a senior.
Dan.
I was a senior in high school, and when school got out in that afternoon, Daddy was there waiting for me, driving the pickup. And I was driving a car. No, that's right, driving an ABC car. And he was wearing his hunting coat. And he said, I got something for you. Reached back in that game pouch and came out with a little yellow cocker. About like that.
Is that right? I never knew that.
Yeah, and I named her Nubbins. Because Mama remembers that there was a little kid out in Oklahoma or somewhere or another named Nubbins that had fallen in a well. Remember it, Bobby?
Yep.
And did they get that little baby out, or did the little baby die? Anyway, I forgot which. Well, I went to the Marines, and while I was in boot camp, Mom and Daddy went to International Police Chief Association meeting. They'd always go once a year.
Was he the police chief or he was ABC chief?
ABC chief,
Yeah.
yeah. And they put Nubbins in a boarding kennel, and she got distemper or something other and died.
Well,
These the other people lived in the dental house was Hardy Ledbetter and
Yeah.
his wife.
I don't remember them, but I remember the name.
Administrator over there.
And then,
That was
what was
actually-
that, Dr. something other D?
Zipski.
No, that other one, the one taller fella that had worked with Jacques Cousteau. What was it?
Oh God.
But this is after I've already left for college. I'm pretty sure I don't remember that at all.
Oh
You
God.
may have been in West Point
Yeah.
then, but I
I
don't
can
know.
see him right now.
But you know, he moved to Beaufort and started practice there, and then he's retired now.
Can't think
A
of
funny thing though, he was on call. Well, he practiced medicine, but you know, he'd been working in the city. So I had a patient, congestive heart failure. So I called him. He came over and he says, will you help me? I said, do what? So we got the book out. I said, now you treat them like this. What in the hell? What's his name?
Doesn't matter.
A
Keep going.
quadro.
Who?
A quadro.
Dr. Quadro, that's right.
Dr. Best used to live there. You said.
Yeah, the Dr. Best lived right next door here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Live with him.
Wow. Reading it, you had how to fix the patient from a book.
Huh?
You were fixing the patient reading the book.
I knew what to do,
Oh.
but he didn't.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Mama, tell Lee about that time that you and the black orderly carried the corpse down to the morgue and
Oh,
Rex.
but you gotta wait till you come back in here to tell me, because I just want to pick. You want to pick?
I'll get you to it, yeah.
Good.
Let me stop for a minute.